My name is Shantala Kamarvan, and this is
Mallory McClare.
And we own Beverly Phono Mart on the south side.
Obviously, you guys have a real, passion for music. So, what is your musical background or upbringing, or how was your influences growing up? Either of you, both of you can go.
Yeah. I grew up with a lot of music in the home. My parents listened to tons of music. In the summers, we were always at every city festival, and I think kind of naturally me, as well as my sisters, kind of clung to that. My whole life I've been enjoying live music, and even professionally, I always had some element of the arts there. So I initially went to college to study journalism because I wanted to be a music writer. Was a terrible journalist and learned that pretty quickly, mostly because I could just be too in the moment to actually get a story, and enjoyed kind of the behind the scenes work that it takes to bring people together. And so I've been working since then in various positions all around events, public programming, cultural affairs, you name it, and I kind of see this as just a different manifestation of that passion.
Yeah, I'm the youngest of 5 boys, and I have I just remember my brothers listening to all types of music in the house. They all have different styles of music that they liked. One of my brothers loved new wave music in the 80s. He loved pop music, music that was on TV or on the radio. And then my other brothers were into hip hop and rap and stuff. So everyone was really into different stuff, especially growing up in Albany Park on the northwest side. It's a multicultural neighborhood, so I'm getting a whole lot of noises and sounds coming from different cultures up there.
So now, let me ask you both, when did the sickness start with the addiction to vinyl?
For me, it started early because I was very engaged in hip hop culture as a teenager, starting from 12 or even younger than that. And then once I started seeing DJs playing music for the dancers, I just felt like they had a more control of the people, and I just was really interested in that aspect of the culture. So I got my own turntables when I was in high school, around freshman year, so I was 15 or something like that.
What were your first turntables?
They were Geminis. Gemini.
So.
No, they were direct drive Geminis. They were my older brothers. And once I got, my own turntables, I started buying records every week.
Right. How have you been?
For me, more recently, probably the last 5-6 years, in beyond pilfering from my father's collection and having my own.
That's the best place to start.
Yeah, and for me, it was about having the space, choosing to in some way live with music in my home, and then another big part of it was I was personally in a space where I was needing some grounding. And I think in the same way that people might turn to yoga or gardening or cooking or something that's a meditative practice.
Therapeutic.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you can.
It really is an experience that we're kind of taking for granted, and so much of it has become just background noise for many of us now, where it's just it's just on in the background while you're doing something else versus you actively listening, which, my next question is about what is it about listening to records and vinyl that you enjoy more than the so-called convenience of, you know, hitting up a digital streaming service and just hitting shuffle or something like that.
For me, listening to music on vinyl has a warmth to the sound that can't be replicated with a digital form. Yeah,
How about you, Mallory?
yeah.
Like, what is?
I think it's like
you touched on it already. Yeah,
but I think related to that is like the tangible aspect is like discovery, and I think that when you have a record and you take time to read the liner notes and go through it, like who needs the fucking algorithm, right? Like you can start to make your own connections to know who the writers are and the producers and the people who aren't at the forefront that can lead you to like all of these other artists. And so there's like this constant learning that's happening. And I love that.
You guys probably have like your most guarded record or prized piece of vinyl, and it may not be like because it's worth this much, but it's got something that's really special. Is there something you guys could share with us?
Like Donovan, Hurdy-Gurdy Man, Donovan, and there's a drum break in there, and when you put it on, it's like wow, and I don't want nobody to know that I have it.
Right.
Yeah.
We came across Weldon Irvine Time Capsule, and it's like pristine, which is kind of like the crazy thing to me. It's crazy that you find it, how it gets lost too. Like someone, like there's a story to this, but there's a story to how it ends up in a storage unit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hidden away from someone, you know what I mean? And so it's like, to me, that's also fascinating. Like how does music get lost, or how, like, what's?
I have lost some records along my journey, and somebody has them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about like what are you after? What is like? Is there anything that's like your Moby Dick, your white whale that you like? Oh, if I find this record.
Yeah.
There was a record you found that you wanted for a while. The Eddie Kendrick record that you wanted.
Oh yeah. Hold on. Which my people. But we yeah. I'd say if I ever find Gilberto Gil and Jorge Ben have an album together, which I own on CD that I bought at a record shop because I'm like, this must be cool. And it was one of those albums for me that both got me really interested in both of their separate catalogs, but like the sounds opened up this other portal in my brain. And I just love it so much. And so I think if I ever came across that, which I don't think was ever like pressed in the US or anything, so.
Right.
I don't know if I ever will.
Okay.
It exists.
We're putting it
if
out
anyone
there.
wants to like go to Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've always wanted this record by the Electric Prunes, a release of The Oath that was produced by David Axelrod.
Okay.
And I already found it, but then I sold it already. And it was an original pressing, and it was a promo.
Wow.
We found it in this pastor's garage out in Elgin, and I found it, and I just didn't have the urge of keeping it. It's just the wow moment. Oh wow!
Found it, and that was it.
That was it. That's all I needed. That's all I needed. Yeah.
You conquered, like you found it.
Yeah.
Not like I need to have it.
Right.
Gotcha.
And finding it in the wild and just like, all right, this is dope.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You needed to find it, not that you needed to have it.
No, because I already have the reissue. You know.
That probably sounds better.
Yeah.
Right?
So, I have the reissue. I'm not like the type who I was like, I was telling myself like I would never find this in the wild, and seeing it in the wild. I was like, wow,
it's like, wow,
it does exist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The white whale.
Yeah, so it's out there. We just got to go get it. But having a reissue, for me, I don't really care about reissues or an original pressing. I'm not that type of dude. I just like the music.
Yeah.
And the find is great. It's fun. That's what I'll wear.
Yeah.
That's why hobby is the digging.
I think that's what's cool about the original presses. You usually had to dig to find it. You know, versus like, oh, I just went and ordered it, or this place has 10 of them in stock, or you know what I mean? Like, but then you play it up against like the heavier gram new one.
It doesn't have the same. Or that remastered.
And,
180 gram.
And now they're mastering up to work with our sound systems that we have today too. You know, because that's another thing. A lot of the original presses were made for those stereos that we were listening to, which were different, far different fidelity than what we're. So like, let's talk a little bit more about the store and how like we're here again. I mentioned the Beverly Morgan Park area of the South Side. So like, how did you guys end up? Are you guys Southsiders or?
Yep, I grew up in the neighborhood. I moved away for a little bit. And, as soon as we purchased a home, we knew we'd either be near my family down here or near Chantal's, and we ended up down here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a Northsider, man. Albany Park, and she kidnapped me. Kidnapped me down to the South Side. And man, I don't know how I feel about it, but
hey, look, she's happy, so that's how you should feel.
That's true.
She smiles, so you're doing the right thing, brother.
Beverly Phono Mart wouldn't exist.
That's true. It wouldn't exist in Albany Park.
For us, as much as it's about maybe the transactional aspect, it's about being able to meet neighbors. We've intentionally set the space up so people can chill in the front. They can sit with us at the counter. Like, it's about that social interaction and the community component. And
very nice.
I think for us, being intentional about having our own business in the neighborhood was a lot just thinking about like a cultural representation and what that means. You show up and you show them who's here. And like, how do you do that? What better way to do that than to like open a space? And it's one where it's, not just about being business owners of color, but like you see it in the artists that are on the walls and the music that we play, the type of music we hear, our snacks, all of those things. And it's about, not just what it means for us to be here, but what it means for people who live in the neighborhood to be able to like walk over here and have something different in their community or something that feels familiar in their community too.
So why don't you just give us the 411 location, hours of operation, and all of that?
Yep. We are located at 1808 West 103rd Street, open Wednesday through Sunday. Let me do that again, because those aren't our days. We are located at 1808 West 103rd Street, open Thursday through Sunday. You can find us at beverlyphonomart.com.
Or you can follow us at Beverly Phono Mart on IG and Facebook as well.